calling all millionaires and future millionaires. Welcome to Go to Millions. I'm Ari Murray. Nice to meet you. This is go-to-market strategy for the big dogs. Woof, woof. Sit back, relax, or go get your steps, or add stuff to your cart. That's 100% what I recommend you do. Whatever you do, please pay close attention to these million-dollar ideas from the biggest and baddest operators and founders in the entire world. Off we go. On this episode, you're going to meet one of my really good friends, Kendall. We recorded this as a virtual event, and everything Kendall touches turns to gold. We met in the offices of Sharma Brands back in the day, and she has been a friend to our agency for as long as I've been here. Kendall works on the biggest and baddest social brands in the world: Graza, my favorite olive oil; Canopy, the diffuser that sits by my bed; and Drink Via Carota, my favorite craft cocktail that I worked on to launch with her together. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Kendall. She's a treat. See you soon in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Want to make a huge impact on your bottom line? I know you do. Tapcart creates a seamless mobile experience for your customers, turning your Shopify store into a fantastic app and creating a ton of value from your top customers. Visit tapcart.com/millions to get started with 1 month free. Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for being here. This is Go to Millions, and today we are joined by my friend Kendall, who is a organic social genius. And with that, Kendall, do you want to come on out and we can get started? Kendall, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
How did you get into this industry, and was it intentional, or did you fall into it?
It's always a funny story because I was talking about it with someone the other day. It was like a good accident.
Okay.
I guess it became intentional over time, but like I got into it because when I was in college at UVM for like my first semester, so that was like 2013, no one was really on Instagram. Like there was no niche, like nothing was happening. It was like the first of like health food creators and like everyone who existed. So that's when I made my food account that I still have, which is the Flexible Foodie. I don't post on it as much, but
I love it. You need to roll it back.
I'm going to try. We're going to see if it can come back.
Yeah.
But like that's where that started. And so I started teaching myself social kind of, or like how to build community. And then it kind of just like accidentally grew. And like that was supposed to be a private account. I accidentally shared it to my Facebook page by accident. And that ruined it in a great way. And then, yeah, like fast forward, like I kept on growing it. Like, I think I got to like 15K and I was like, oh, wow, okay. Got an internship in social and then pretty much just like kept going with it. I really liked it. So, yeah, I guess it became slowly intentional of like, I want to do something in this. But that's how it kind of like started. It started from just like me wanting to post what I was eating in a dorm room. Wow. And then I'm here. So
when you started school, did you think you like knew what you wanted to be?
I wanted to do something in health and wellness. I think like ideally I was undecided. So I went to 3 colleges. I was undecided and then I dropped out. Quite the combo. We love it. And UVM, I was undecided because I was like, I'll keep my mind open. And then my other 2 was like business. And then originally like full stop was like dietetics. So I have like a health and wellness background. Did my anatomy classes and everything. But yeah, I never actually like, I did marketing classes, but I never made my major marketing.
I'm a twice dropout as well. So I did 1 semester at Wisconsin. Then I did get my degree. And then I did 1 semester in law school. And I love dropouts. It always, me too. I try to block it out. That was not fun. Let's move right along. So yeah. So you used your account to get your first internship, and then what was your first like formal job that you did like full time in this space?
Honestly, I've never had one, which is like
I love that.
Like that was actually something someone asked me. It was like, "What was your first job?" And I was like, "So I've never had a full-time job in social. I started consulting when I was a junior in college. And then that's when I dropped out because I like had the internship, kind of was hoping to like get a job there. I was working retail like while I was in school just to like, make some money on the side.
Right.
Count off some clothes. Like it was a win-win. And then, they didn't take me as a job offer once the company got acquired after my internship ended. And I was like already consulting with restaurants in the city just to like, once again, like make some side cash. And then I told my mom, I was like, my grades are going down. I'm not a bad student, but I was like, I have no interest anymore. And I was like, I'm out of here. And she said, as long as you could like show that you can make a living, go do your thing. And then I've like, 6 years? I think it'll be 6 years in August that I just been doing my own thing. But yeah, I've never had a full-time job doing this.
I think that's the most epic thing I've ever heard. And at least when I met you, you were like introduced to me as the organic social person. And so the fact that, and this was 2 years ago. So
Yeah, we also.
And you were already like known in our space as if you need a perfect organic social strategy, go to Kendall, and you taught yourself, which is incredible. So what are you currently working on and what are the brands that everyone should be looking out for?
Oh, man. Okay, so currently working on, one, we work together, which we're so
We do.
to work together on Via Corota Craft Cocktails, which just launched about a month ago. So working on that. Actually, that is my first experience with alcohol for social. So it's definitely like a really cool learning experience. And then obviously like my other two that I'm working on right now, people are probably, if anyone's listening that knows me, I've been on them for a long time. So Canopy, which is a humidifier brand, I've been with them for around 3 years, which is also crazy. And then Graza, which is the squeezable olive oil that has just been a rocket ship and has been like the biggest learning experience from like launching on social D2C, but a product that's built for retail and really seeing like retail growth and learning how to support that through social. So that's mainly what I'm working on right now. And then brands that people should look out for. Oh my gosh, I feel like whenever I'm asked this question, every brand name leaves my mind.
Of course.
Same thing with like when someone's like, what are you working on? I'm like, like, I think honestly, like I'll play favorites on two. I would say you have to look out for what Canopy has coming up this year. And then same thing with Graza, from where you'll be able to get it is the most that I can say. And then from other brands that I don't really work on that I just love, Zesty Z, shout out to Alex. He is an amazing founder and the product is so good. No plug. I just happen to have the popcorn right here. It is so good. And I think what they're doing to like merge the cultural background of like the Mediterranean side of his family. It's like him and his mom are the founders. They do a great job. They're TikTok crushes. So I would say them.
And do you have a favorite channel when you're like thinking about go to market social? Do you think most about one channel or is it all part of it?
I would say it's all part of it. It mostly depends like where we're at from a resources perspective. So I would say like it's always going to be Instagram, TikTok for sure. But I also like still treat, it really depends on my scope, obviously, but I always treat like influencer as a social channel, of course, because that only boosts like brand awareness and everything. So I would say like those would be usually my three. And then, yeah, obviously like create like the strategy deck that I usually come up with is always channel by channel of like, what are the first like 30 ideas that we're doing across each? And like, what do I need to be able to give the client that? And then we just backtrack it and make it happen.
So you're the best in the whole world at organic social. It's a full stop sentence. So in case you know it's true. So what makes for a great Instagram page, for example? Let's pretend it's for a new brand that's coming and like a CPG healthy brand. What would you say like has to be there?
The biggest thing, and this is just also just me speaking out loud in terms of like the biggest loophole that I keep seeing people not going into is like the education side. Like I think everyone's going too hard in like product and entertainment and no one's actually educating anything about their product. So to me, a good like feed is something that has an education angle, whether that's through like short form video and it's like broader, so it's more like top of funnel, and then merging that in with like UGC over time so that like new customers or new followers are coming on and seeing like people do like this product and here's why, or like people truly like this part, they might not like this part, and like make it more relatable with a balance of like staying in the know of what's happening and obviously showing the use cases of your product and why it's unique. So I think it's just like the synergy, as we would say, of like having it all combined. I think people just don't have pillars set up and then just start posting stuff. And they're like, why isn't it converting? Which is a whole nother thing of like, how do you convert on social? And like, should social convert and everything like that?
So should social convert?
I think it can. I think it's removing it's not even like a stigma, but I think it's like one of those things if so many people are like, social's useless, or, you know, it should be the last, or, you know, it's always like the jokes on LinkedIn of like, your social person isn't this, and this, and like social should be included on all the meetings, which is true because like they're the amplification of everything that you're trying to do. And when it's formed correctly, it can be so much more powerful than other channels that you have that you're paying a lot of money for. Yeah, I think it can convert. And I think it is one of those things too of like, how much are you pushing your product on social from an angle of like, to use the Gary V jab, right hook kind of vibe, so that you can get people in, and then like leveraging also like your creators and stuff to like push back to the site. There's just so many ways to do it. But yeah, I think it's also just not all founders, but some founders like think that it has to be like 25% of sales need to come from organic, which like that's a lot. It's usually like, to me, it's like 5% of the month, like small, but like does enough, you know?
If you have a good Instagram that represents your brand well, that educates on your product, even if it's not maybe last click on the sale, it definitely helps. Because for me, I find almost everything I'm going to buy on social because an influencer I like wears it or buys it, and then I want to be like them, and then I wear it and buy it. And I don't always buy it like the second I see it. Maybe I'll see it, send it to you, be like, Kendall, is this yummy? Like, should I buy this? And then you'll say yes, and then I'll go like Google them. So search would get the credit, but it's organic social. That's it.
Exactly. Like the attribution's always a little hard, but that's why everyone should always have their UTM parameters set per platform and making sure that you can do the most that you can, because everyone forgets that. So that's one tip.
One hill to die on. I love that. Okay. So if you could recommend one piece of media, it could be a podcast or someone you follow or some brand you look up to our millionaires to consume that would help them in this space, so in organic social, what would you choose?
I would say, she knows I'm a fan, this Rachel Carton's newsletter. It's link in bio. It's great for people who either work in social and just want to learn more about the whole breakdown of like current brands that are doing things really well, or like how they're taking a different approach to doing certain things. Or she has like really good interviews with one-on-one interviews with people in the space. Like she's done one with Eli, like I've been part of it. Like just the questions she asks are really good. But yeah, I feel like I always walk away with knowing something, even as someone who's like been doing this for a while. So yeah, I would say her newsletter.
And where do you find marketing inspiration?
Outside of the niche that I'm in based on the client. I think too many people look in the same row. And so they're like, oh, I'll use Graza as an example. If I'm in olive oil, let me just go look at all olive oil companies. I'm like the complete opposite. I'm like, I could get inspiration from like fashion brands and like find a way to make it like, you know, whatever that concept is, or if I have an idea, like what type of niche would actually do that. But yeah, I'm like a huge fan of going outside the niche, because then everything just blurs and looks the exact same. I think there's something to be said about when you're positioning the product to be looking at like the similar brands. Like I always think about, if we're Graza or if we're something that's in a cupboard or on your countertop, like who are the brands that are with you, and like how can you work together, not against
each other.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I usually look.
And then when you're looking, are you using Pinterest? Are you just Google? Like, how do you find new brand?
Let's see. If we're talking day one new brands, I love thing testing. I feel like I'm also trying to be the number one super tester one day, but we'll see. But I would say they're so up to date with everything. And then obviously like Snack Shot too, in terms of like food and bev side of things, of just like seeing what's coming up or like certain trends in the food and bev space. So yeah. And also honestly, just like I love walking, I love walking around grocery stores. So if I am near any grocery store ever, you are guaranteed that you will be seeing me walk around for like probably 15 minutes, just like looking at shelves and not buying anything. So
we have a friend that went to Chicago, and this is one of my first memories with Kendall, and they went to Foxtrot, and just the amount of even text messages that were flying and the excitement of someone else going to Foxtrot and sending you photos, like that's all I would ever want for anyone, because we're having a time.
It is so fun. Like literally Whole Foods, anything, I can stay there forever. But yeah, I mean, like that's usually where I'll look. But when it comes to like Insta from the social angle, yeah, it's like going through Pinterest, if it's a certain like aesthetic, just honestly like scrolling through TikTok. It's like you could find brands that are very small owned, whether it's like a really small creator, just like a regular human being, and get its inspo from there of like things you probably not have heard yet from a trend perspective and things like that.
I'm going to ask the question, does your Shopify store have an app? If you want to make a bigger impact on your bottom line, can I get you to head to Tapcart? They'll create an epic app in the seamless mobile experience your customers demand. And you don't need a ton of downloads, because if only 5% of your super users jump on the app, you're going to notice the difference. An app is the best way to engage and grow your loyal community. Head to tapcart.com/millions to get started with 1 month free. So as marketers, we're only as good as our tech stack. How do you think about evaluating the tools you use for your biz, especially because you run a small but very mighty shop?
It's always hard with like social tools and like building like a tech stack. I think if I was to narrow it down, I mean, I'm happy to also describe which ones I use right now, because
yeah, that would be amazing.
Okay, awesome. So I would say you definitely need, across the board, if we talk broad, it's like something that is great for your content storage and efficiency with organization, which Google Drive and Dropbox do not do. And then obviously like analytics and reporting, scheduling, if you want. I have a whole thing around like if I schedule content or not. It really depends. What else? Any type of more creative tools that can help with the actual creative that's being designed or edited or anything like that. So for me, content storage is air always. It's like if Dropbox and Google Drive had a baby. That's usually how I describe it. Reason I love it, if you work with a ton of creators or you work with a ton of clients and they owe you content, you could just send them a form. And it makes the system so much easier. It's so easy to organize, number one. Number two, for social analytics and reporting and scheduling, usually Sprout Social is my go-to. It's the most like robust, I feel like, in terms of what you can get for what you're paying for. And then number three, from a creative standpoint, I think too many people get overwhelmed with editing and like thinking about like memes, which are a skill. Shout out Tommy Clark on that one. And for that, if you want good memes, Mematic is a really good app. And then for editing, if you're like, I want to make TikToks, but I don't know how to edit, honestly, editing in app, but also using CapCut is perfect. Then yeah, I think it's just kind of like the standard like Bitly's, making sure you're tracking your links, but using Google Analytics to make sure that your ETMs are correct. Yeah, but usually air is like I'm in air every single day of my life in Sprout. So yeah.
And I feel like you're an Asana girly. So.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh, how could I forget? I am an Asana girly. Depends on what the client uses, but for myself, I use Asana. I love Notion. Shout out to everyone who uses Notion, but it will not be me.
See, I don't like Notion at all. I can't even say I love Notion. I don't need a lesson on how to use the tool that's supposed to help me.
It's nice when someone gives it to me, like I know where I need to go. But if I'm like
a fully built out one,
if I'm like, if you give it to me and it has everything I need, like cool. if you want me to use it for myself, it's never happening. I'm very much a pen and paper girl, though. I love crossing off a list, but Asana for design requests is perfect for me. And then, I can't say I use Figma yet for anything from a social angle, but soon I need to teach myself. So
Me too. Well, you're at it.
we'll get
We'll ask Bailey. We'll ask all of them. Okay, online shopping happens on our phones. How are you putting the flow from organic social to mobile shopping experience first for those conversions?
Wow. That's a really good question. Let's see. I think it's like just doing the small things. Obviously, it goes back to like what education are you bringing forward to make people want to shop from their phone? And then also, I think it's just utilizing like the tools that the platforms give you to be able to shop or have the customer shop easier on your profile. I feel like even just with like a lot of the mobile shops through like Instagram, for example, a lot of people just don't have anything that's up to date. So like let's see if like we click on something that is from XYZ brand, but like their pricing is wrong on the product that they're selling us. It's like, that seems weird. Like if it's like $150 when it really costs $20, like you just lost someone who could have purchased because you didn't fix that. So I think it's honestly doing the small things to just like consistently keep your shop updated and remember to be tagging your products where you can, but not all the time. I think also it is looping in and working on from like an omni-channel standpoint of like tying up with email and SMS. Like I'm very much an advocate, and anyone who works with me like knows this, that like I will go to the death to be like, cool, I have this thing for social, but like paid, you can use it, and like email, you can use it, and like anyone on SMS, paid, whatever team you are, PR, like can use this. So yeah, I think it's syncing up with like an editorial standpoint too, because then you can repurpose your emails to social and like then just do a tap now and like sell them through and like just leverage all the content that's being made. I feel like that's a huge angle.
That's such good advice, especially I feel like if the email team has created a GIF, that's the hero of an email. And if the email is done well, then it would be assumed that that asset is doing a good job. And so you should then, instead of letting that asset die and live and die in that one channel with that one email, like to share it. And I think we're really good at that, where all the agencies come together and we will give anyone any of our assets, and you give us your assets all the time. And it's making the whole thing feel like it's one brand. Yeah, there's a lot of hands.
Exactly. And like then no one's like, not saying time is wasted, but you know what I mean? Like
it is though. It's like resources. If you could spend an afternoon like sharing your assets once with every other team and making it a system that like, okay, they all log into Air or they all like use this Slack channel, and then we can always have access to 30 days of content that can be used on the 45 other projects. Like that's the best use of time there is. So I love that.
Agreed.
So we're only as good as happy we can keep our community. How do you think about building community for the long term?
I would say it's showing them like the good and the bad and the ugly. Too many brands want to be like too pristine. And I think it's when they finally start breaking the pristineness of what they want, everything starts working better. Whether that's like changing the way you film. So like, sure, like use the $4,000 Sony camera or use your iPhone. Not saying one's wrong. Or like take them to the factory with you when the product's being made. Like people love the behind the scenes. People love the storytelling. So like I would say it's just like that one simple switch can start building communities more strongly. I think too many brands right now like build audiences, or they want an audience. They say they want community, but they keep building an audience, which is like so bad. And like they're there for a short time, not a long time. So yeah, I would say community, it's like keep them up to date. Like use your stories as like behind the scenes in feed. Like don't be afraid to show like the real stuff that's actually going on. Like if you're having a problem, like voice it, don't like hide it from the customer. If it's something that's going to be prolonged, like a shipping issue or like something like that, just stay honest. And then also like listen. The number one thing is like listen to what they want. Stop creating because you want it. Like, here's what you want. Like honestly, Yeah, if they're asking questions, make video responses to their questions. Don't be like, I feel like making this video today when you have 20.
Or like the content calendar said we were going to do this. So even though there's not, they don't want it to, no.
Our content calendars should be blueprints, not the like Bible of the brand.
I love that. Because that's their official hill that you'll die on.
Yeah.
But I think what you said about not hiding problems from the customer is so real because they'll find you. And if you don't want to talk about it, then that's exactly what you're going to have to talk about one day once you've had to turn off your comments and have a little nightmare on your hand. So it's like if something's going down and if you build a community where real people are behind the brand and people know that, then they're going to have more grace for you than if you act like you're so perfect all the time and you sweep it and you hide words and you make it so people can't actually say what's actually happening.
I think that's why I would look to Graza's, if anyone wants like a good example, like Graza's story in the Wall Street Journal about how Andrew wrote the email about like all the things that we kind of learned over the last few months and like where we want it to get better. It was just like a small chance that like someone from the Wall Street Journal is a subscriber to Graza and was like, wow, this is actually really, really, like really good. So yeah, that's like a good visual if anyone wants one.
I love that. At Go to Millions, we're big shoppers. What's on your wish list or what have you recently bought?
I'm a huge Baggu girl lately.
I think that it is.
Oh my God, search them. Baggu. Best reusable bags, laptop cases. I usually throw my laptop around and I was like, yes, I need this bright laptop case. And then big Hoka girl, just bought another pair. Oh, I would say one brand that people often ask me what I'm subscribed to because they assume a lot. It's really not a lot, like 2 things. One of them is just a regular greens powder, but then 3 things. Number 2 is the Mojo functional mushroom gummies. There's no active psilocybin in them. It's just functional mushrooms. Great for focus. Number 3 is Dew Skincare, Dieux. Best moisturizer I've ever used in my life. Ever.
I'm a Hoka girl too. Someone in the comments is a Hoka girl. Hoka girls forever. I only have 2 pairs and I say only because I want 7. So I just got my 3rd. I was like, I don't need these, but yeah, I do. I am a Bondi 8 and I look forward to branching out, but I'm so scared. Like I want to have so many pairs that I can move into new categories.
Rahi 6 is the new one. I'm a Clifton girl usually.
Okay, maybe I'll branch out. Maybe I'll get one more Bondi. And last question for you.
Moisturizer, yes. There we go.
We've made a friend. When you think about how you got your start, is there one person you want to thank? It could be from any part of your past.
Oh, yeah. It's someone that we all know very well. Definitely Nick Sharma.
I know.
As much as he's probably going to be like, no, I remind him all the time that I would not be sitting here if it was not for him. We met through Instagram, and since then he's been one of my best friends and he has taught me so much. And I definitely like would not have taken the jump into the brand side if it wasn't for him. So shout out to Nick.
As someone who works for Nick full time, I also agree that he's a hell of a guy. I think that you have made your own name, and so it's so cool to see that like even people who other people might look up to now, like they always have like a past mentor that really helped them, especially if that mentor is like the same age as you and is your best.
Yeah, that's literally.
It like it also shows that like anyone can change anyone else's life.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But also it's like even all of you, like all of us just learn from each other. And I think that is like the best feeling in the world when we're all in the office together and we can all just spitball ideas. So it's like, I don't know, just we're all very lucky, I feel like.
100%. On that note, plug yourself. Tell everyone where to hire you, all of the above.
Okay, if you have any inquiries or questions, you can reach out to my website, which I need to update, which is KendallDickieson.com. And then you can also follow me on Twitter, which is @FlexibleFoodie, because I can't get my name changed right now. And then I'm trying. And then you can also feel free to follow my food account because I'm going to try and make it come back to life, which is @TheFlexibleFoodie. And I think that's it. And if you have any questions or want to do any calls or whatever, you can find me on MentorPass as well.
I love that. I think that's the perfect place to end it. Kendall, you are the superstar of my life. A fun fact, Kendall is the first person I asked to be Go to Millions because I, again, am an Uber fan. And I look forward to seeing your expo journey and hopefully more costumes because Kendall, last I saw her, was in a Graza, like, full outfit. So
yeah, if anyone's going to Expo West, and you want to meet, you could probably find me in a Graza costume. It literally looks like the bottle. And yeah, otherwise I'll be walking the show Thursday and Friday. But yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you so much. And bye, everyone. Thank you for being here. And this will be available as a podcast on Spotify and Apple next week. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. It was a pleasure talking with you. Keep up to date with Go to Millions by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. And if you learned something with us here today, tell a friend for me, will ya? Thank you again, and let's chat soon. Bye!